Hello, I'm your host May, and welcome to Halshan's monthly free webinar on nutrition and brain health, your regular dose of wellness tips for better nutrition and mental health. Now, before anything else, I know it's not yet late, but I wish to greet everyone a happy new year. And it's 2025. That means wala na tayong excuse. So, no better way and time than now to start making a real difference in our lives. And luckily for us, this January, this is International Quality of Life Month. And this webinar series seeks to encourage all of us to improve our quality of life and overall well-being. Now, nagsisilbi rin itong paalala sa ating lahat na bawat araw ay pagkakataon natin para mapabuti natin ang ating kalusugan. So, tara, let's start the year by being healthier and happier. And now, in celebration of the International Quality of Life Month, our talks will focus on tips and advice to help us make healthier choices for a better quality of life. And to start off, let's welcome back Miss Bianca Oranga, Halshon's in-house dietitian, and she'll be sharing valuable nutritional insights that will help transform our health. Now, let's give her a warm welcome in the comments section.
All right, good day, everyone, and thank you so much for attending this free webinar conducted by Halsha Nutrition. My name is Bianca Oranga, and I am the in-house nutritionist dietitian of Halsha Nutrition. And today we will talk about eating for energy and vitality. So that I think that's something that's very interesting. I think that's something that people would like to know about. What are the foods that we are supposed to eat para nga may energy tayo? And I'd first like to talk about the scope of the webinar. Ano ba yung pag-uusapan natin for this 20 to 30 minute webinar? So first we have the key nutrients for energy, how food affects the mind and body, the principles of balanced eating, or how do we do balanced eating, types of food that energize versus types of food that drain, nutrition for physical activity, and cognitive performance and mental clarity. So first off, we will talk about the key nutrients for energy. Ano nga ba yung mga important na nutrients that we should be eating for energy? So first, I'd like to talk about the macronutrients. Maybe you have heard about the word calories. So when we say calories, it's basically energy. If we were cars, yung gas po sa car, yun yung energy natin. And yung gas po sa car, yun yung calories natin. And our calories comes from the macronutrients, the carbohydrates, protein, and fat. So if a food has carbohydrates, it has protein, or it has fat, it has calories, or it has energy. First, we have calories, which is the primary source of energy. So ito yung primary source of energy, and ito din yung for immediate energy. So halimbawa, you decided to just stand up and walk for 5 minutes. Ang gagamitin ng katawan natin for that to happen is carbohydrates. And then we have protein. So protein gives us calories, but it's not really used for energy as much as carbohydrates and fat. Hindi priority ng protein magbigay sa atin ng calories. And that's because marami pa siyang ibang function. So it's also for our growth, for repair, for maintenance of body tissues like muscles, skins, and organs. That's why hindi niya masyadong priority yung magbigay ng energy sa atin. And then we have fat, which is the concentrated source of energy. So sabi ko kanina, if we decided to stand up and walk for 5 minutes, ang gagamitin ng katawan natin for that to happen is carbohydrates. But what if we've been walking for 1 hour already? Then the body starts to use fats. That's why when it comes to halimbawa weight loss, mas effective yung mga longer workouts because it starts to use our stored fat for energy. And the next that I'd like to talk about are the micronutrients. So micronutrients, the vitamins and minerals, are key nutrients for energy, but it doesn't give us energy. So micronutrients doesn't have calories. That's why if you buy supplements, halimbawa bumili ka ng vitamin C and you look at the nutrition facts in the back, you will see na halos wala siyang calories. Mostly 0 calories lang siya. It's because micronutrients doesn't give us calories. It doesn't give us energy. But vitamins and minerals are still very important for energy because they are catalysts or they are the regulators in the processes that generate energy from food. So, hindi siya nagbibigay ng energy, pero siya yung nagiging catalyst para ma-process natin yung energy natin. Now, the question is, what food should we eat to get vitamins and minerals? The answer is a wide range of food or a huge variety of food, or meaning kumain ka dapat ng iba't ibang klaseng pagkain. And remember, eating different kinds of whole foods is better than taking different kinds of supplements. Next naman na key nutrient for energy is water. So I'd like to talk about the crucial roles of water. So hydration plays a crucial role in maintaining energy levels as it impacts nearly every physiological process in the body. So lahat ng nangyayari sa katawan natin, our water has something to do with that. One, it supports cellular function. It regulates body temperature. It prevents fatigue, which is very important for energy. It enhances digestion and metabolism. Why is it important na enhance yung digestion and metabolism natin for energy? It's because para ma-process natin yung kinakain natin so that we can get energy from it. It maintains blood circulation and it prevents headaches and mood swings. And the next naman na key nutrient for energy is blood sugar. So, very important yung blood sugar regulation and to stay away from energy crashes. So, blood sugar or glucose is the body's primary source of energy. If you remember, I said kanina, carbohydrates is the body's source of energy. So, bakit ngayon blood sugar? It's because sugar comes from carbohydrates. So, any kind of carbohydrates that we eat, it turns into sugar in our body. So, rice becomes sugar, bread becomes sugar, fruits become sugar. And it is crucial to maintain stable blood sugar levels to prevent energy crashes and maintain consistent physical and mental performance throughout the day. Sometimes kasi when we eat too much, ang nangyayari is tumataas yung blood sugar natin, and then after a few hours, babagsak naman yung blood sugar natin, dun na nangyayari yung energy crashes. So it's better to eat planned meals, balanced meals, para laging stable lang yung blood sugar. So how do we prevent energy crashes? One is to choose low glycemic index foods. So ang glycemic index ay isang ranking kung gaano kabilis tataas yung blood sugar natin when we eat a certain food. So as you can see here, low glycemic index, yung mga nagsuscore below 55. Meaning these are the foods that would raise your blood sugar slowly when you eat them. So we have there yung mga rice, cereal, corn, sweet potatoes, and also the fruits and vegetables. Maraming usually natatakot sa fruits because they say that fruits is sugar, or natatakot silang kumain ng fruits kasi natatakot silang tumaas yung sugar nila. It's completely normal na tumaas yung blood sugar mo when you eat fruits because fruits is carbohydrates. Ang ayaw lang natin ay yung sobrang dami naman na fruits na sobrang tumataas na yung blood sugar natin. But take note that fruits are low in glycemic index. So, yes, tataas yung blood sugar mo when you eat fruits, pero dahan-dahan lang siyang tataas. So, tataas lang talaga yung blood sugar mo ng sobra if sobrang dami yung kain mo ng fruits. And the next way to prevent energy crashes is pair macronutrients. So remember the macronutrients kanina, carbohydrates, protein, and fat. So it would be better if we eat all three or we pair them. So eat carbohydrates with protein and eat carbohydrates with fat. So an example of this is pair an apple with peanut butter because the apple has carbohydrates and the peanut butter has fat or protein. Bakit gusto natin na dapat may pairing yung carbohydrates? It's because the fat and protein slows down the absorption of glucose or sugar in your body. So, may sugar or may glucose yung apple natin, pero yung fat and protein coming from peanut butter will slow down the absorption of the sugar from the apple. Right? And then next naman, na way to prevent energy crashes is avoid skipping meals. So regular meals prevent large fluctuations in blood sugar. So you should incorporate snacks if meals are more than 4 to 5 hours apart. Actually, a good way to keep your blood sugar balanced and also para hindi ka nagugutom is to eat every 3 hours. What do I mean by every 3 hours? Halimbawa, breakfast and then morning snack, lunch, PM snack, dinner, and midnight snack. So all in all, that's six meals in 24 hours. Pero hindi naman yung sobrang dami. Ang tawag natin dyan ay small frequent meals. So, pakonti-konting kain every 3 hours para balance lang yung blood sugar natin. Right? And then next is balanced eating. So balanced eating is the foundation of good nutrition and overall well-being, and it ensures that your body gets the right nutrients to maintain energy levels, support bodily functions, and prevent chronic diseases. But how do we do balanced eating ba? One is variety. So kanina, sinabi ko yung carbohydrates, protein, and fat. A good way to do balanced eating is eat all the three macronutrients. Hindi pwedeng may favorite ka. Hindi pwedeng gusto mo puro carbohydrates lang or puro protein lang or puro fat lang. Hindi rin pwede na may nire-restrict tayo na macronutrients. So halimbawa, ayaw mong tumaas yung blood sugar mo, so completely ayaw mo nang kumain ng carbohydrates. Hindi naman pwede yon. Dapat balanced lang lahat. So dapat may variety. Next is in moderation. So, of course, lahat naman ng pagkain pwede. Actually, as a nutritionist dietitian, I never say na may bawal na pagkain. Lahat naman ng pagkain pwede. It's just that moderation is key. Next is proportionality. So, it's good to remember na people are different. Lahat ng tao may iba't ibang needs in nutrition. So, we have kids or younger people who need more protein. We have pregnant people who need more iron and folic acid. And iba-iba yung mga needs natin. So, magkakaiba-iba din yung pagkain natin. That's why we need proportionality. And then we have nutrient density. Meaning, sa isang klaseng pagkain, marami siyang nutrients. So, it will be good to eat nutrient-dense foods kesa yung mga zero nutrient density, meaning mataas yung calories niya pero wala siyang masyadong nutrients. Wala siyang masyadong vitamins and minerals. Next, we're eating for vitality is managing portion sizes and avoid overeating. So, consuming more calories than the body needs can lead to weight gain, and it can increase the risk of chronic diseases like diabetes and heart diseases. Overeating often causes feelings of sluggishness and discomfort, which can impact productivity and mood. So, not only can overeating lead to sluggishness or discomfort or low energy, it can also lead to increased risk of chronic diseases like diabetes and heart diseases. Why is that? Is because when we overeat, we eat too much calories, we tend to gain weight, and dun na lumalabas yung mga chronic diseases like diabetes and heart diseases. But there are ways to manage portion sizes and to avoid overeating. So one portion size strategy is to use smaller plates, which would make sense kasi if mas maliit naman talaga yung plate mo, then you would visually, you would know if marami ka na or konti pa ba yung kinakain mo. Next is follow the Pinggang Pinoy. So Pinggang Pinoy was released by the FNRI. So ito yung para may visualization tayo of what Filipinos should eat every day or what our plates should look like. So as you can see, mayroong carbohydrates, may rice, you can see dyan, may protein and fat, which is nandun sa ulam, like the fish, and we have vitamins and minerals from the fruits and vegetables. So pay attention to hunger cues, eat slowly, and stop when you feel satisfied, not overly full. So wait 10 to 15 minutes before deciding if you need a second serving. So that's a good strategy kasi usually after natin kumain, we decide agad if we need round two. So it would be better to stop and talk to whoever you're eating with. Stop for 10 to 15 minutes before you decide if you need round two. Next is pre-portioned snacks. So divide snacks into single serving containers to avoid mindless eating. So halimbawa, you have a big bag of chips. Instead of eating straight out of the big bag of chips, it would be better na ilagay natin siya sa mga maliliit na container na lang. Avoid eating straight from large bags or containers. And eat mindfully and avoid distractions. Next naman na eating for vitality is the types of food that energize versus the types of food that drain. So ano ba yung mga food that energize? One is complex carbohydrates. So ano ba yung complex carbohydrates? Kanina, we talked about carbohydrates and there are two kinds of carbohydrates. We have complex and simple carbohydrates. Ano yung difference nila? Well, first, pareho lang silang nakakapataas ng blood sugar. But yung difference nila is kung gaano kabilis tataas yung blood sugar mo once you eat them. Yung complex carbohydrates, tataas yung blood sugar mo, pero dahan-dahan lang siyang tataas. Yung simple carbohydrates is usually within 15 minutes or after 15 minutes of eating, nag-shoot up agad yung blood sugar natin. And mas gusto natin yung complex carbohydrates where dahan-dahan lang tataas yung blood sugar mo because we want a stable blood sugar. So where do we get the complex carbohydrates? One is whole grains. So if you're in the grocery and you see something labeled as whole or whole grain like whole wheat, that's complex carbohydrates. Yung other sources are like brown rice, oatmeal, and whole wheat bread. We also get complex carbohydrates from beans and lentils. So like kidney beans, chickpeas, mungo is a lentil or a bean. Vegetables like sweet potatoes, carrots, and we also get it from fruits. As I said kanina, we get it from all the different kinds of fruits. Next is lean proteins, meaning mga karne na walang taba. So, puro yung mga lean or malalaman na karne. Next is healthy fats. So, healthy fats, there's such thing, meron tayo usually tinatawag na good fat and bad fat kasi. So, yung good fat or yung healthy fats, they don't clog your arteries or they don't cause inflammation. So, hindi siya nakakapataas ng risk of cardiovascular diseases. And we usually get it from plant sources. So, if galing siya sa halaman, it's more likely a healthy fat. One example is avocados. Next is nuts or nuts and seeds. Nuts like almonds, walnuts, cashews, and seeds like chia seeds, flax seeds, and sunflower seeds. And we also get it from vegetable oil like olive oil. And we get it from dark chocolate, which is a good food to eat when you want to be energized kasi may sweetness siya, so it's like a snack that would make you happy, but at the same time it's healthy. It has a lot of antioxidants and it has healthy fats. Another type of healthy fat is fish. So fish isn't from a plant, pero it's considered a healthy fat. So better yung mga fatty fish like salmon, tuna, and sardines because they're rich in omega-3, which is good for the brain and the heart. And then the types of food that drain naman, so the opposite, one we have refined carbohydrates. So ito yung mga mga processed foods, processed sweets, processed carbohydrates. So halimbawa mga pastries, yung mga nakapack na brownies and cookies. We have processed and packaged foods. We have fried and fatty food. So kanina may healthy fats, meron din naman bad fat. And we have caffeine and energy drinks. One question that you would probably have, bakit yung caffeine and energy drinks nasa foods that drain at hindi siya nasa foods that energize? Hindi ba dapat mga-energize yung caffeine and energy drinks? It's because we usually have energy crashes after caffeines and energy drinks. So, but when we drink caffeine and energy drink, mataas mabilis tumataas yung energy natin, and then after a few hours, grabe din yung ikakababa ng energy natin. That's why it's in the foods that drain. So next naman, the role of protein and carbohydrates in recovery and endurance, or the nutrition for physical activity. So the nutrients that are very important in recovery and endurance is carbohydrates and protein. Why? Because one, carbohydrates is the main energy source. So yun yung immediate energy natin. Like sabi ko kanina, if we decided to stand up, walk for 5 minutes, the body uses carbohydrates for energy. Protein naman is essential for muscle repair, for growth, and for recovery, and providing amino acids to maintain and rebuild tissues after exercise. Most likely, yung carbohydrates, you need that right before an exercise, and then yung protein naman, kailangan mo siya after your exercise. But usually kasi pag nag-workout, masyadong binibigyan ng time limit ng mga tao yung pagkain ng carbohydrates and protein. Like, for example, yung protein, they think na dapat 30 minutes after a workout, dapat kumakain na agad sila ng protein. Actually, it doesn't matter naman. As long as you have as long as you ate protein all throughout the day, that's fine. Your body will use that protein for your recovery and endurance. So next naman, an example of protein and carbohydrates for your recovery and endurance. An example would be chocolate milk or chicken sandwich on whole grain bread, or a protein smoothie with fruit. So in chocolate milk, it has sugar and it has protein from the milk. The chicken sandwich on whole grain bread, it has carbohydrates from the whole grain bread, and it has protein from the chicken. Or a protein smoothie with fruit. So of course, protein from the protein smoothie and carbohydrates from the fruit. So next naman, ano naman yung mga food that we need for cognitive performance? Cognitive performance refers to your ability to think, learn, remember, and focus, all of which depend heavily on your diet and overall nutritional intake. So next slide, what are the important nutrients for cognitive performance and mental clarity? What are the types of food that support brain health and focus? One is omega-3 fatty acids. So omega-3 fatty acids are essential for maintaining the structure of brain cells. So one sources nito ay fatty fish, walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds, and also you also get it from supplements. Merong mga omega-3 fatty acids, but again, sabi ko kanina, it's still better to get nutrients from whole foods rather than supplements. We have B vitamins. B vitamins are crucial for production of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which regulate your mood, your energy levels, and cognitive function. So, yung sources naman nito, halimbawa B12, it comes from meat, poultry, fish, dairy, and fortified plant-based products. We also get folate from leafy greens, from beans, from asparagus, from citrus fruits, and B6 from bananas, chicken, potatoes, and fortified cereals. So complex carbohydrates as well, yung diniscuss natin kanina, ano ba yung mga complex carbohydrates and where do you get them? And the next is antioxidants. So antioxidants protect the brain from oxidative damage, which can lead to cognitive decline and increase the risk of neurodegenerative diseases. So yung sources nito are berries, strawberries, dark leafy greens, and again, dark chocolate. Like sabi ko kanina, dark chocolate is high in antioxidants. And also green tea, which is high in polyphenols. And we can also get good brain health and focus from protein. Protein is used to produce neurotransmitters that play a role in mood regulation, concentration, and memory. So protein also stabilizes blood sugar levels, preventing energy dips that can lead to cognitive fatigue. Yung mga sources nito, yung mga lean meats like chicken, fish, eggs, tofu, and legumes. And then last naman is magnesium. Magnesium plays a role in nerve function. It also helps in regulating blood pressure and reducing stress levels, which in turn can improve cognitive performance. So yung mga sources naman nito ay mga leafy greens, nuts like almonds and cashews, seeds like pumpkin seeds and chia seeds, avocados, and dark chocolate as well. So, thank you so much for listening. I hope the simple 20-minute webinar was able to give you some information about energy and vitality to improve your quality of life. And stay tuned to Halsha Nutrition because we usually do this every month wherein we do uh, free webinars about nutrition. So, thank you so much and I hope you were able to learn a lot from this webinar. Thank you.
Welcome to Halcyon Health, where your crew's health and well-being are our top priorities. Seafarers are essential to keeping the world afloat. Their resilience in the face of challenges is remarkable, and we recognize their crucial role in your success. That's why we join you in ensuring their health and safety. At Halcyon Health, we understand the unique challenges of managing crew health at sea. Our solution goes beyond mere data snapshots. We offer doctor-led interpretation of healthcare information and personalized care designed specifically for maritime needs. Here's how it works. Your seafarers schedule their pre-employment medical exam through the Halcyon Health app and attend their appointment. During the appointment, doctors provide valuable insights and recommend steps for improving health. Prescriptions and tailored care plans are shared directly through the app. Seafarers then prepare for deployment and, while at sea, input their health data into the app. Halcyon can monitor this engagement to ensure ongoing support. About a year later, another medical appointment is scheduled via the app. Data from the initial pre-employment medical exam and any updates during deployment are used to adjust care plans seamlessly. Continuity of care is vital for maintaining crew health. Our app encourages your crew to monitor their own health and stay on track, even while at sea. Crew members can stay engaged by tracking their mood, body metrics, nutrition, and medication. They also have access to the latest health tips, fitness plans, and mental health courses designed especially for seafarers. For company clients, our platform offers a comprehensive overview with up-to-date dashboards, ensuring you can stay responsive to your crew's healthcare needs. Halcyon Health provides a complete ecosystem of care, ensuring your crew never feels alone in their health journey. With access to health tips, personal tracking and reminders while on board, from one medical exam to the next, Halcyon delivers continuity of care. Visit www.halcyon.health and contact us today to embark on your journey towards better crew health.
Welcome back, everyone. Hopefully, every one of us are feeling more refreshed. Now, let's discuss how a holistic approach can help us enhance naman our quality of life. Now, to break that down, please welcome Miss April Panty, Halcyon's in-house mental health coordinator. Alamin natin kung paano natin mapapangalagaan ang ating mental and physical well-being for a better living. Now, let's give Miss April another warm welcome in the comment section.
Hello, everyone. I'm April, Mental Health Coordinator at Halcyon Health Network. Halcyon Health Network is a established premier medical provider for pre-employment medical examinations and post-medical medical case management for the maritime industry. In Halcyon po, we don't just advocate for physical health and fitness, we also advocate for the mental well-being of the seafarers. That's why we created a mental health program specifically for seafarers, and it includes providing mental health talks like this one. So welcome po to Halcyon's Mental Health Talks. Okay, so here's a question for everyone. Have you ever felt like you're not happy with your life? Yun bang minsan napapatanong ka na, kailan kaya ako totoong magiging masaya sa buhay? Bakit ito lang ang meron ako sa buhay? Bakit parang walang nangyayaring bago sa buhay ko? Bakit parang may kulang sa buhay ko? Diba? So, yung iba, sinimulan nila yung taon na may pa-bucket list sila. Pero ikaw, bucket list lang ang meron. Kasi ang dami mong tanong na, bakit? Pero actually po, yung mga tanong na nabanggit kanina ay reflection po anong tinatawag natin quality of life. Yan. So, yun yung pinaka-topic po natin today. And when we say quality of life, it refers to the overall well-being and satisfaction an individual or group experiences in various aspects of life. And it's influenced by many factors, including culture and values, goals, expectations and concerns, personal relationships, overall health, and circumstances. Para mas maintindihan po natin, pag-usapan po natin yung 6 na importanteng domains of quality of life o yung kalidad ng. So let me explain one by one. Okay? So the first domain is the physical health. It focuses on the body's condition and its ability to function effectively. And kasama po dito yung, syempre, yung physical well-being natin. So, as natin, wala ka bang illnesses, wala ka bang injury, wala ka bang pain, and also yung energy levels, do you feel energetic and are you capable of performing daily activities? Kasama din po sa physical health domain yung mobility, no? The ability to move around independently. And also yung sleep and rest, yung gusto nating malaman is yung quality and adequacy of your sleep. And lastly, yung medical care. Do you have access to healthcare? And are you satisfied with the healthcare system? Okay, so yan yung physical health domain. Next domain is the psychological well-being, and basically it addresses emotional and mental health. And kasama po dito yung tinatawag nating emotions, of course, no? Ano ba yung level of your happiness, sadness, anxiety, and yung iba pang mga emotions. And also, pag pinag-uusapan din po dito yung tinatawag natin na self-esteem, no? Yung confidence mo and yung respeto mo sa iyong sarili. Cognition, the ability to think, learn, and make decisions. And also yung stress management, how do you cope with life's pressures and challenges? And then also kasama din yung mental disorders under ng psychological well-being. Gaano ka ba naapektuhan ng mga mental health conditions like depression or anxiety if meron ka man? Okay? So, yan po yung tinatawag nating psychological well-being. Yan yung pangalawa nating domain. Third domain is the level of independence. Okay, so this domain reflects a person's ability to manage their life autonomously. So, andun yung daily living activities. Kaya mo bang magdamit ng mag-isa, maligo ng mag-isa, magluto, no? And kasama din dito yung mobility, although nabanggit na to kanina. So, ability to travel, na ikaw lang mag-isa, and perform tasks independently. Kasama rin po dito yung capacity for work, yung ability mo to engage in and sustain employment. Nagtatagal ka ba sa iyong trabaho? So, tinatakal po yan dito under na level of independence domain. And lastly, control over decisions. Do you have the freedom to make choices about your life or nagre-rely ka pa sa ibang tao para lang mag-decide para sa'yo? So, control over decisions. So, level of independence domain. And yung fourth domain is the social relationships. This domain considers the quality of interactions with others and social support available. So, andun yung mga personal relationships, of course, no? Yung connections mo with your family, friends, and of course, yung romantic partners, kasama din po yun. Also, yung social support. Do you feel supported and valued by others? Nararamdaman mo ba na napapahalagan ka ng iba? And community involvement. Do you participate in social groups, clubs, or activities? And of course, syempre kapag sinabing social relationships, hindi natin maaalis yung usapin about loneliness, no? So, nakakaramdam ka ba ng loneliness? Ito yung absence of companionship, parang wala kang companion, and there are no meaningful relationships. So, social relationships domain. Next domain is the environment. Ayan. So, it focuses on external factors that affect well-being. Siyempre, kasama po dyan yung safety. How do you feel secure in your environment? Living conditions. Kumusta ba yung quality of your housing? May access ka ba sa malinis na tubig, electricity, and sanitation? Okay. And next is, under pa rin ng environment domain is yung access to services. Do you have, may available ba na healthcare, education, and transportation? And also, yung recreation na tinatawag natin, no? Do you have any opportunities for leisure and relaxation o puro work ka lang? Lastly, yung environment quality. Malinis ba yung hangin na iyong nalalanghap? Are there green spaces in your community? And kumusta ba yung pollution? Minimal lang ba? Or masyado ng polluted? So yun yung tinatawag po natin na environment domain. And lastly, we have spirituality, religion, personal beliefs domain. Ayan. This domain addresses the role of beliefs in providing meaning and purpose to life. So, kasama po dyan yung faith. So, faith is any religious or spiritual practices na nakaka-apekto sa ating well-being. Okay? Also, yung purpose, no? Purpose is a sense of meaning in life derived from beliefs or values. Yung, ano ba yung mga ginagawa mo na sa tingin mo ay may purpose? Kahit ano yan, basta sa tingin mo may purpose, under yan ng domain na ito. Inner peace, harmony and balance within oneself. Ganon din po, ano ba yung mga ginagawa ninyo na nakakapagbigay sa inyo ng inner peace? Okay? And then lastly, yung community connection. So, pwedeng mga faith-based or value-driven groups yung sinasalihan mo. Diba? So, under po yan ng spirituality, religion, and personal beliefs domain. Okay? So, pag-usapan naman po natin yung mga indicators, ilang indicators na mukhang kailangan na natin i-improve yung quality of life natin. Okay? So, indicators that you need to improve your quality of life. First is the physical health challenges. Kapag napapansin nyo na parang lagi kayong nagkakasakit, lagi may masakit sa inyong katawan, lagi kayong may fever, kaya naman nagkaroon kayo ng condition like arthritis, o kaya sakit sa puso, maaaring senyales po yan na kailangan nyo nang i-improve yung inyong quality of life. And next is yung mental and emotional distress, no? Yung patuloy po na pagdaranas ng tinatawag natin na stress o kaya naman anxiety, depression, ay nagpapakita po na may mababang kalidad ng buhay, no? Yung mababa yung kalidad ng buhay mo kapag may mga ganun kang nararanasan, no? Kung patuloy siya and nakakaapekto siya sa iyong emotional na kalagayan or yung emotional well-being. So, indicator po yan na mababang kalidad ng buhay. Third is social isolation, no? Kapag wala kang sapat na koneksyon sa ibang tao, madali kang makaramdam ng kalungkutan, no? At parang tingin mo walang suporta na nabibigay sa iyo yung ibang tao. Siyempre kasi dahil nga nandun ka sa social isolation. Sa halimbawa po nito, no, hindi ka nakakasama sa mga kaibigan mo o pamilya, kaya't nararamdaman mong mag-isa ka sa buhay. Okay? So, sign po yan na maaaring kailangan mo nang i-improve ang iyong quality of life. Also, financial or professional struggles, kapag may mga problemang pinansyal o kaya kawalan ng satisfaction sa trabaho, hindi ka masaya sa trabaho mo, laging ganun yung nararamdaman mo, nagpapahiwatig po yan ng mababang kalidad ng buhay. Okay? Kasi mas nadadagdagan yung stress na nararamdaman or nararanasan ninyo. And andun din yung parang kawalan ng seguridad, no? Siyempre, pinag-uusapan natin dyan, trabaho and yung finances. Halimbawa po nito is kapag nahihirapan kang magbayad ng bills, kaya nagtatrabaho ka sa isang environment na hindi fulfilling para sa'yo. Okay? So, financial or professional struggles. And next po yung environmental and living conditions. Kapag hindi po maayos o hindi ligtas yung iyong tinitirahan, ay pwede po kung direktang makaapekto po yan sa inyong pang-araw-araw na kasiyahan at comfort. So, halimbawa po nito, no, yung pamumuhay sa isang lugar na maingay o kaya naman masikip, madumi. So, pwede po magdulot yun ng stress at discomfort. So, sign po yan na kailangan niyo po i-improve yung inyong quality of life. Yan. And then next is lack of purpose or fulfillment. Kapag wala kang malinaw na goal or purpose sa buhay, nararamdaman mo na parang walang halaga yung ginagawa mo. Indicator po yan na kailangan niyo pong iangat, no? Or i-improve yung inyong quality of life. Halimbawa po nito yung pakiramdam nyo na wala kang silbi, no? Sa araw-araw na ginagawa mo, parang hindi ka nasisiyahan, no? So, sign po yan or indicator po yan na kailangan i-improve ang quality of life. And then, decline in coping abilities. No? Kapag hirap ka, dati hindi ka naman hirap. Kapag may problem ka, madali mong na-overcome. Tapos ngayon, biglang parang hirap na hirap ka nang ma-overcome yung mga bagay-bagay. Kahit simple lang na problema, hindi mo siyang ma-overcome. Indicator po yan na mukhang kailangan niyo pong i-improve ang inyong quality of life. And lastly, decreased engagement in life. Kapag nawawalan ka po ng interest sa mga bagay na dati mo namang gustong gawin, no? Nagpapakita po ito na hindi ka na nasisiyahan sa iyong araw-araw na buhay. Halimbawa po, hindi mo na ginagawa yung mga dati mong hobby katulad ng panonood ng mga movies. Dati enjoy na enjoy mo yun, pero ngayon ayaw mo nang manood ng movies or mga series, no? Ngayon sisimulan mo siya, pipilitin mo yung sarili mo, pero hindi mo matapos-tapos. Wala kang interest talaga dun sa bagay na yun. O kaya naman, kapag tumatanggi ka na makilahok sa mga social events, no? Ayaw mo nang sumasama sa mga grupo-grupo, yung mga activities na maraming mga makakasalumuha, senyales po yan na kailangan nyo na pong i-improve yung inyong quality of life. So, if you feel that you're not living your best life physically, mentally, emotionally, in your relationships or in your studies or at work, then it could be time to consider po making lifestyle adjustments to improve your quality of life. Kasi, teka lang, paano nga ba i-improve ang kalidad ng buhay o quality of life? So, sige, ito po, isa-isahin po natin yan. Unang-una po is set goals. Ayan. Kapag may malinaw ka kasi na goals, mas madali kang mag-focus sa mga bagay na mahalaga. Halimbawa, kung gusto mong maging mas healthy, pwede kang mag-set ng goal na maglakad ng 30 minutes araw-araw o kaya naman magluto ng masustansyang pagkain 3 beses sa isang linggo, no? So, pansin niyo dun sa mga halimbawa ko na goals, specific siya and achievable, no? So, wag po kayong magse-set ng goal na unrealistic, yung tipong hindi nyo talaga ma-achieve, no? Siyempre tao lang tayo, dapat pang-level na tao lang, no? So, be specific with your goals and make it achievable. Consider nyo yung mga capabilities nyo rin. Okay? So, set goals. And kahit na maliit na goal lang po, basta consistent po kayo, magdadala po ito ng malaking pagbabago or changes sa inyo pong quality of life. Okay? So, set goals. Next is adopt healthier habits. Ayan. Ang simpleng pagbabago po ng sa lifestyle ay may malaking epekto sa inyong kalusugan. Halimbawa, imbis na magpuyat sa panonood ng TV, subukan niyo pong matulog ng maaga para makakuha ng 7 to 8 hours na tulog. Okay? Pwede rin itong pag-inom ng mas maraming tubig. Ayan. So, sino dito mahilig sa tubig? Ako kasi hindi. So, sa pool ako dito. No? Hindi ako masyadong matubig. Pero tinatry ko talaga siya kasi napakahalaga ng tubig. So, pag-inom ng mas maraming tubig, imbis na soft drinks, di ba? O kaya naman, yung simpleng pag-akyat lang ng hagdan, imbis na elevator, para sa simpleng ehersisyo, malaki na po yung epekto niyan sa inyong kalusugan. Okay? So, anything, any healthier habits, gawin niyo po yan. Okay? Next is enhance social connections. Ang pagkakaroon po kasi ng matibay na relationship ay nagbibigay ng lakas ng loob sa atin at suporta. Halimbawa po nito, pwede yung paglalaan ng oras sa family. Kumbaga, pagkakaroon ng family bonding tulad ng dinner together o simpleng pag-check-in lang sa mga kaibigan sa pamamagitan ng tawag or text. Okay? Pwede rin po kayong sumali sa mga community activities o grupo na may mga parehas kang interes. Okay, pwedeng book club or charity events, kahit ano, basta yung parehas mo ng interes, pwede ka pong sumali doon. So, basta ma-enhance po yung social connections at maiwasan po yung pag-isolate sa iba. Okay? Minsan kahit hindi natin feel, pero alam natin na yun yung healthy para sa atin, then kailangan po natin talagang gawin. Kahit hindi natin feel, kahit hindi natin ramdam, basta alam natin yun yung tamang gawin, gawin po natin. Okay? And next is engage in self-care. Ayan. Mahalaga po na alagaan ang sarili upang mapanatili yung tinatawag nating balance, no? Pagkakaroon ng balanse. Halimbawa po nito, yung paglalaan ng oras tuwing weekend para sa mga bagay na nagpapasaya sa'yo tulad ng pagluluto, pagbe-bake, di ba po, pagpapamassage, kaya naman yung iba nag-gardening, no? Pwede rin itong simpleng pag-break sa trabaho, no? At mag-relax habang umiinom ng kape. Okay, so engage in self-care. Yan, para magkaroon ng balanse. Lalo na sa may mga trabaho ko, no? Mga employees katulad ko, na nag-work 5 or 6 days a week, mahalaga po na meron pong pambalanse po na hindi po pwede kasing puro work lang, no? Maano tayo dyan, mag-burn out. Kaya kailangan meron kayong mga pambalanse na activities na sobrang na-enjoy nyo, gagawin nyo yun. Para hindi kayo umabot sa burnout. Okay? And minsan, yung self-care na sinasabi natin ay hindi lang puro mga nakaka-enjoy na activities. Okay? Minsan, ang ibig sabihin ng self-care ay pagising ng maaga para makapag-prepare ng healthy na pagkain na baon mo sa work para hindi puro processed foods yung kakainin mo. Diba? Minsan naman, ang ibig sabihin ng self-care ay pag-alis sa isang very toxic relationship. Kumbaga, pipiliin mo naman ang sarili mo. Right? Sabi nga po ng isa sa mga paborito kong author, si Brianna West. Sabi niya, true self-care is not just soft baths and chocolate cakes. It is making the choice to build a life you don't need to regularly escape from. Ang totoo at mas malalim po na self-care ay hindi lang tungkol sa pagpapakalma ng sarili gamit ang mga relaxing activities tulad ng soft baths o pagkain ng chocolate, ng ice cream, di ba? Yes, importante po yung mga yon bilang pampatanggal ng stress. Pero ang tunay na self-care talaga ay ang paggawa ng mga desisyon at hakbang para bumuo ng isang buhay na hindi mo laging gustong takasan. So may mas malalim pa tayong definition sa self-care. And lastly, seek professional help. Ayan. Humingi po ng tulong sa mga eksperto. Kung nararamdaman mo mabigat ang pinagdadaanan mo, huwag po mahiyang humingi ng tulong. Halimbawa po, kung nakakaramdam ka ng matinding stress o anxiety, maaari ka pong kumonsulta sa isang psychologist para sa counseling. Kung may nararamdaman kang physical na sakit, pwede po kayong magpatingin sa doktor para maagapan po kung ano man yung inyong nararamdaman. Diba? And ang pagsisik po ng tulong ay hakbang po para para sa mas magandang kalagayan ng inyong katawan at isipan. Okay? So again po, these are some ways to improve your quality of life. Set goals, adopt healthier habits, enhance social connections, engage in self-care, and seek professional help. Actually, ito po yung mga ways na hindi po effective. Tama po kayong pagkakarinig mo. Hindi siya effective unless magiging consistent po kayo sa paggawa po, sa pag-practice po nitong mga to. Kasi kung halimbawa, isang beses lang kayong mag-set ng goal, isang beses or dalawang beses lang po kayong gumagawa ng mga practices para ma-enhance yung social connections ninyo, para mag-adapt ng healthier habits. Hindi po kasi instant na magbabago ang quality of life ninyo. Hindi instantly magi-improve kung isa, dalawa, tatlo na pagkilos lang, no? Hindi po. Kailangan these strategies will only be effective if you commit to them consistently. Okay? Consistency is the key. So, lagi niyo pong tatandaan. Okay? As I end po, allow me to leave you with these words. Focusing on quality of life isn't just about living longer. It's about living better. Ang tunay na kasiyahan ay hindi lang nasa dami ng taon na nabuhay tayo, but it's from the moments we cherish. Okay, ulit. Ang tunay na kasiyahan ay hindi lang nasa dami ng taon na nabuhay tayo, but from the moments we cherish and the purpose we embrace. So thank you so much for listening. Let's continue to advocate for mental health, spread awareness, and share kindness wherever we are. Thank you po.
Thank you, Miss April and Miss Bianca, as well for those informative discussions. And hopefully, you'll be able to make healthier choices this 2025. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for being today. You've already taken your first step towards improving your health. So let's give ourselves a clap in the comment section. And not just that, but also mentally. Now, before we wrap up today's webinar, we'd love to hear your feedback. Now, on your screen is a QR code that you can scan to take a quick and simple survey. Now, please share your honest thoughts about your experience with us today, and know that your feedback will also help us improve and bring more valuable content in the future. Now, that concludes our session for today, and thank you for being part of this learning experience. Until next month, and from Haushan Health Network Inc., stay healthy, take care, and bye.